Okay, welcome to the Traveling Schools Information webinar. Thanks for joining us today. Before we start, we just wanted to kind of go over a couple housekeeping pieces. First of all, as you've probably noticed, we are sharing our screen and it probably will take over your whole computer. And with that in mind, we're also recording it. And so we ask at this point just to make sure your video and sound are off. We want to make sure that everyone can hear us though. So if you have any issues with hearing us now or have any questions throughout our presentation, please use that chat function at the bottom of your screen. And you can just make sure that you are just sending the chat directly to the traveling school, and we'll try to answer your question or help you troubleshoot if we can. Okay. So our goal of this webinar is to provide you with an overview of our program and share out some examples of our mission and action and provide some details specific to each of our 2-semester programs. We'll also spend some time talking through the 2020-2021 application process. We hope that this presentation will help you envision what a semester abroad with the traveling school would look like for both a parent and a student. And at the end, there will be an opportunity for listeners to type questions for us to respond to. But that being said, if you have any that come up throughout, just send us a chat so you don't forget it. Okay, so let's start by introducing ourselves. I will start. So my name is Dalton McCurdy, and I'm the admissions manager at the traveling school. And what that means is I will probably be the first person that you talk to when you reach out and say that you're interested in one of our programs. And I am here to support you through the application process.
My name is Caitlin Bear. I'm the program assistant. I support Dalton through the admissions process, so you might see my name pop up every now and then. And then I also support our program and take over a bit of the contact between parents and the office once students are on semester.
My name is Harley Emmons. I'm a TTS alumni. I went on the traveling school last semester, last fall in Southern Africa.
Hi everybody, my name is Anj Thomas and I'm the program director over here. I work closely with everybody from admissions to enrollment and then all the way through the program. So Caitlin and I kind of go back and forth with emails to the parents throughout the semester. And then I'm also working closely with the teachers, and I'm the first point of contact between the program in the field and the parents over here in the States. So that's me.
All right, so let's get started. At the traveling school, we believe that informed, inspired, and confident young women can change the world. Females empower females, and we see our students as future change makers with the capacity to push limits, break ceilings, and be leaders. Since 2003, the traveling school has cultivated global engagement, leadership, and confidence in over 400 young women. So we want to give you, first of all, the base of our program. We're set off of 4 pillars: experiential academics, global engagement, outdoor adventure, and leadership development. So to start with, we're going to provide a general program overview and then highlight more specific semester information later on. Each of our semesters are 15 weeks long with up to 16 students and 4 teachers living, learning, and exploring together. Students take 6 place-based experiential classes and participate in 20+ hours of community service. Every fall, our group explores Southern Africa, Zambia, Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa. And then every spring, we venture to South America, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia.
All right, and our classrooms are all around us at the traveling school. We don't rely on 4 walls or technology. Instead, our academic schedule is responsive to our surroundings and opportunities that present themselves as we travel through a region. Students are engaged in relevant coursework presented by their teachers, local community members, and their geographic surroundings. Classes are immersive and happen everywhere.
Sorry, we're just...
Okay. So your classes could be learning about the mining industry in Bolivia through firsthand conversations and an in-depth look at geology in the area, or you could be writing a global studies paper about the effects of tourism and conservation that you learned while on safari or meeting with park rangers. There's so many more examples, including like our curriculum in action might be working with kids at a local school, studying flamingos in Bolivia, or doing a walking art tour. Other days you may walk through history as you explore Inca civilization before arriving at Machu Picchu. You may meet influential community members like freedom fighters who fought alongside Nelson Mandela to end apartheid, take an immersive language seminar from a native language speaker, and while you're doing these classes, your teachers are carefully tracking academic hours for each class, and those classes could be a sit-down lecture, a historical tour, or a guest speaker, and our class hours typically exceed the average US standards for school hours. Okay, so each student takes 6 classes, and you can see that list here. The courses take advantage of the region, and the contents of each class starts to commingle. So history doesn't always end when the history hour is over. Those concepts trickle into other courses, and you can develop a bigger perspective to be put into real world context. Finally, you'll see at the bottom of the screen, we do offer supplementary courses, and these vary by semester and by interest of the students. With everything, please reach out if you have specific questions surrounding your academic course needs.
So an example of a class that really showcased TTS place-based curriculum was Honors History and Politics class that we took, and that was in South Africa where we learned about the apartheid. And it just helped learning the history before we arrived in Cape Town and like going to townships and everything, so we knew the history before we were there, so we had like a more in-depth perspective of what we were seeing and learning about.
Awesome, thanks. So before we continue, just a quick message to anyone who's joined us recently. If you could just make sure that your own sound is turned off, that'd be awesome. Thanks. Okay, so moving on. We're just working through some things. Cool. Okay, so, well, what does a traveling school student look like? Really, the biggest common denominator is that students are open-minded, looking for more, and really excited about place-based learning. Beyond that, they are academically curious, willing to live out of a backpack or sleep in a tent for long periods of time, highly motivated, adventurous, and fun, and really interested in learning about other cultures. They're also excited to build a supportive and inclusive community. Students typically come from all over the US with an occasional international student, and they join us in grades 10, 11, or 12 from either public, independent, or homeschool settings. Awesome. And you will, as a student, be traveling with 4 teachers. Traveling school teachers are experienced world travelers and educators, and they are strong, thoughtful, and amazing women. They teach all of your classes. They act as your mentors, both formally and informally. Each student is assigned to a mentor who helps support them during your semester, but there's also lots of times to informally interact as you are basically together 24 hours a day. And teachers act as your international and cultural guides, and really so much more. Harley, do you want to speak to that too?
So I had 4 teachers on my semester, as most do, and they played so many different roles. They were all mentors, teachers, and essentially parents. So it was like, we learned a lot about them, but they also helped us with our lives. So it was like a different perspective.
Thanks.
All right, so in addition to experiential academics, the three other pillars, outdoor adventure, global engagement, and leadership development, are woven into the day-to-day experiences at the traveling school. We believe that to be adventurous, you need to be engaged with your surroundings, and engagement at a global level really helps to cultivate one's individual voice and leadership style. So examples of some outdoor activities on semester would include backpacking through Peru, canoeing the Orange River, bouncing between the borders of Namibia and South Africa, mountaineering in Bolivia, and sand sledding in Namibia. This component of outdoor education builds strong leadership and communication skills, empowering young women through hands-on experiences and adventures that push limits, develop new skills, and set and grow confidence.
Oops, let me stay up to date with where we're at. So our third pillar is global engagement and cultural interaction. And through this experience, you'll become a world citizen. You'll meet people and learn about their perspectives. And these perspectives are often contradictory, which makes it quite confusing and enlightening to learn about. You'll learn from others and hear their stories, and through this, you'll be inspired to create change at home and on your future travels. Some examples of where you might be globally engaged is classes where you're learning with community members directly and connecting with the different cultures through community service projects, working with local guides, and just spending time with people. Each semester, students participate in a week-long homestay. In South America, this occurs in the mountains of Ecuador, and in South Africa, this happens outside of Cape Town.
So with my homestay family, both of them were removed from the apartheid, so they were pushed out of Cape Town. And so we got to learn about their experience with the apartheid and everything that happened in Cape Town's history and South Africa's history. And it was a really special way to, like, I don't know, just see like a different experience from what we're just taught in school. And then we also got to talk to a lot of kids our age, and we went to church and just did what they did throughout their days. So we're just like getting an insight on their daily life.
On the South America semester, students are also doing Spanish language immersion that whole time. So not only in their homestay, but also throughout the semester.
Okay, under our mission, we see the cultivation of leadership skills as a product of all of the above experiences and those three other pillars we talked about. By pushing limits academically and physically, our students can gain confidence in themselves and their abilities to do more than they ever imagined they could. On semester, you also spend a lot of time talking about leadership styles and reflecting on what type of leader you want to be and what types of skills and strengths you want to incorporate into your leadership toolbox. This semester provides intentional time and space to put these skills into practice in a safe and supportive environment to grow your voice. Oftentimes we get questions about what a typical day looks like at the traveling school. Well, traveling school days are structured, but they're not routine. No 2 days are the same. Each weekend, teachers give a weekly forecast of travel plans, activities, and courses. To hone that overview in, every night students receive the whiteboard schedule for the upcoming day. We intentionally make the schedule on a whiteboard so it can change and be responsive to our surroundings. Students are involved in each portion of the day, from helping prepare meals to cleaning up campsites to packing and moving group gear. A day at the traveling school means being community-oriented, flexible, ready to play a game, or hurry up and wait as a planned activity gets shuffled around a little bit.
All right, well, you're probably aware of this by now, but the traveling school has two programs. Each fall, we visit Southern Africa, traveling on a huge overland truck through Zambia, Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa with a driver and a cook. Life on this semester is a lot of camping. Think KOA style camping with showers, water, and often shady areas at different campsites. Classes are being held in these areas and throughout the landscape. Some more common scenes here On the bottom right, you can see the group getting items out of the truck, getting ready to set up their kitchen for the night. At the bottom left, there's a PE circle with yoga mats. Upper left is camp life, students doing work in chairs. There's things being moved in and out of tents, and they're settling in for an awesome sunset. And the upper right is an example from the homestay that is set outside of Cape Town. So we've worked with these same families for many years, and they love offering traveling school students a few luxuries outside of camping: beds, fridges, washing machines, also while sharing their stories and their lives and learning about yours. This semester is on the hotter side, with some days well over 100 degrees before you dance in the rain and cool off in South Africa. Throughout the semester, you'll scout for animals on safaris, interact with people who speak over 10 languages, including English, and learn how to roll and unroll your tent in no time.
Okay, so spring semester goes through South America. Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia, basically those countries right underneath that orange star. And you can see the semester dates there, February 1st through May 15th. And if you go on this semester, you have the opportunity to immerse yourself in Spanish language and hone your skills, whether you're experienced in the language or if you're learning it for the first time. You'll have opportunities to spend time in cities and take in the culture and art and see the impacts and influences of politics and globalization, as well as explore rainforests to learn about the impacts of deforestation and observe population dynamics under the canopy. You will also get to test your physical limits through tough but breathtaking treks across high altitude terrain and get friendly with some of the local wildlife. All right. So this semester, you're based out of hostels and you travel by bus. You do some treks, and on those treks is where you're doing the camping. Your homestays, like we mentioned, are up in rural Ecuador with a Quechua family. And this homestay is opposite of the Southern Africa semester. It's very rustic. You might be sleeping on your sleeping pad, on the floor in one of the rooms of the houses. You'll learn about traditional Quechua culture and the impact of Spanish colonization still felt today. Okay, risk management. We didn't even label this slide, but don't you worry. We're guessing that it's on every parent's mind, as it should be. It's always on our mind, and it's imperative with our programming. We acknowledge that risk is all around us, no matter where we are, from our hometowns to international travel. And our job as a school is to make informed decisions to maintain our risk management goals. Everyone is responsible for upholding risk management practices, and students will be taught how to acknowledge and identify various risks during their overseas orientation and throughout the semester. This is a big topic, and there are plenty of other opportunities to discuss it during admissions, but also feel free to call if you have specific questions about one of our regions. And for those of you interested in the South America semester, you might be paying attention to what's happening there and seeing that Bolivia just went through a huge political shift. We're also paying attention to that. And our spring semester that will leave in February, we'll get to see this in action if we feel confident in that area. We have rerouted semesters while they're in process. Our goal, again, is to just make conservative decisions and be proactive with our decision making and be ready with contingency plans. So again, if South America is on your mind or if risk management is on your mind, give us a call. And we're happy to talk through that in more detail based on your semester interest.
Our semesters provide time and space away from a sending school environment to reflect and gain new perspective on academic goals, priorities, and oftentimes college choices. It can be incredibly beneficial to shift the educational landscape and change the lens in order to reflect on individual skill sets as a learner and grow student agency. It can also empower students in becoming architects in their own learning plans when they return from semester, be it back to their sending school or as they prepare for college. Students often say that semesters with the traveling school help them identify what type of learning environments are best fit for them. We also offer college counseling either before or after a semester, and many students rely on their traveling school teachers for college recommendations as a result of the connections they make during the semester. Harley, do you want to speak to how you've used the semester in your college application process?
I wrote an essay for Western Washington. It was an experience that like changed me as a person, and I wrote about going to Cape Town and learning the history before, and then seeing the townships and also with the homestays, and how it was like we don't really learn about it in like our educational system here at like Bozeman High. So it was really interesting that I've like never learned about it, and it made like such a big impact on me and like all the people that are like still living there and still like living through what happened not too long ago.
Awesome. Okay, so now that we've talked through our programs and given you some details on the 2 semesters, let's talk about what it looks like to find out more and go through the admissions process. Okay, so here's the breakdown. Applications are now being accepted for the 2020-2021 semester, so both the fall and the spring. The first step in this process is filling out an application online. After you've completed this, we'll reach out and share additional information with you and provide you with the details necessary for those next steps. We do ask that you get 2 letters of recommendation, a current official transcript from your sending school, and then what we call an academic credit transfer form signed by your school counselor. And really, that's just an opportunity to talk through our class selections with your current counselor and make sure that we are in alignment in terms of your sending school credits and requirements for graduation. After that point, once we have all those pieces in, we have a student interview, which is a Zoom call, and it's usually the first time where we get to actually have some face-to-face interaction with our applicants, and it's just a follow-up on the application and an opportunity for students to ask us questions and get to know our programs more, and then for us to follow up on the application as well. And at the same time, someone from our program team will reach out and we'll schedule a parent Q&A during that time as well. Oh, I should also say before we leave, a really important detail that I don't want to leave out is application deadlines for both semesters are February 1st, and our goal is to then get out decisions to applicants by April. Okay, so we realize that a semester requires a significant financial investment, but we really see this, the long-standing value in this commitment. We also know that it's important to fundraise or look for financial aid as needed, and we are dedicated to making this a reality for students who are willing to work for it. We really want any driven young woman who wants to attend one of our programs to be able to. So if you look on our website, there is a button you can click to register for a platform called Fax Management, and that's what we use for our financial aid allocation. And if that's a route that you are planning to take, then you would register online, and it would kind of work through that. You would work through that process at the same time that you are filling out an application. I think it's important to know that based on semester, 40 to 60% of our students do receive financial aid. And along the same lines, we are also trying to work with a couple different vendors to support students as necessary with gear if needed. That's kind of a work in progress. We also have found that students have a lot of success with fundraising for their semester and have a toolkit online available to support you through that process. But again, with any of this, please reach out with any questions, and we're happy to talk through any of this in more detail.
All right, so as we just mentioned, we see commitment to one of our programs as a long-term investment, and the impact of the semester goes beyond the 15-week experience. Upon completion of a semester, you will join the ranks of an amazing community of globally minded and curious women. The women or the alumni network is over 400 strong, and can be incredibly resourceful for anything from questions about the college process to professional networking or additional opportunities abroad beyond the traveling school. You share a connection with these women and they become friends, mentors, and more. Harley, could you speak to maybe some of the connections you made?
Yeah, during my semester, I made a lot of friends. I made one best friend who I've seen 5 times in the past year, who lives in a different state, yet we still reach out to each other. Today was like officially a year since we've been back, and we were all texting each other this morning about how we miss it. So it's like amazing that we still have like these connections from girls all around like the United States, and then one from Ecuador, and it's so special because friendships aren't like that here, because we're just going on like an amazing like adventure together and experiencing so many new things, and we're all like at different times in our life but pretty similar, so we can, I don't know, we just learned a lot about each other because we were with each other like the entire time. So we just became really close, and it was really fun, and we were all ourselves and weren't worried about like what we looked like or anything. We just like to have fun and talk to new people and just like live in the moment.
Awesome. Thanks, Harley.
All right, so we've reached the point where we'd love to open it up to our listeners for potential questions. We're gonna leave you with this really great quote from one of our alumna as you maybe navigate the chat function, and please submit any questions you may have about the program or admissions, fundraising, etc. Notice when you're navigating the chat, make sure that that message is coming just to the traveling school and not to the whole group.
Okay, looks like we have a question that just came through about food. What does food look like on a semester? Well, Harley, why don't you start since you have some firsthand experience?
So breakfast, we would put out like yogurt, granola, like just like a ton of different foods, or sometimes we'd have like this like maize meal that was like amazing. You put like peanut butter in it, like we were all like obsessed with peanut butter. It was great. And then lunch we'd have like sandwiches or salads, and then dinner we had someone who's from Zimbabwe, and he would make us dinner most nights unless we made it, like on trips and stuff. So it was really cool. I liked the food. I enjoyed it. We ate a lot.
Yeah, so the Southern Africa semester, like Harley mentioned, they travel with a cook who oversees their food. And they're sitting sometimes at tables like this, and sometimes in a big circle. And the students are involved with shopping, food prep, and food cleanup. And then it's a good combination between foods that they're used to here in the States, and also some more regional foods throughout Southern Africa. The spring semester is slightly different. Living in hostels, there are more restaurants where we do kind of communal dinners. So there might be 2 or 3 different options, and then you go out to a restaurant and eat there. And then lots of breakfast with eggs and fruit and a bread option. Lunches are varied, similar to Southern Africa, with sandwiches.
Awesome. Here's one more. How do I communicate with my daughter overseas? Caitlin, do you want to take that?
Yeah, so communication takes on a couple of different forms and is also a bit dependent between semesters. In Southern Africa, we schedule parent-student calls every couple of weeks, about 2 weeks apart, and those are about 35-minute calls, great time to connect. And other than that, we coordinate a one-time sort of just before mid-semester mail run where families and friends are able to share letters with the home office, and we hand deliver those to the campus visit in Southern Africa. The reason for that being is just so tricky to coordinate an official mail pickup location with the group constantly on the move. Can you speak any more to that in Southern Africa?
So no, yeah. And then when somebody, either myself or Jennifer, our head of school, when we visit, we also bring letters back home so the girls can have a more reliable method to get letters home. They're also free to go find those post office overseas and see how long it takes for a letter to get back to their friends or family.
And then in South America, it's a similar setup with the calls and the mail date, but the group has a bit more interaction with internet cafes, and there's actually still payphones that exist in the world down there. So there's the occasional opportunity to, during some free time, make a call of their own and connect with family and friends.
Oh, but here's one more good one just to address. How was your transition back to your sending school? And this is a really relevant one, as we actually have a semester kind of working through that issue right now, as our first semester is kind of coming to an end. Anj, do you want to speak to what that looks like? And then maybe Harley, you can.
Yeah, so the fall semester students, depending on their school, may not have to go back until second semester begins, which could be mid-January or February. They do come in at second semester, which I'll let Harley speak to that. There's pros and cons to coming in the middle of the year. And then spring semester, those girls they should be on summer break after May 15th when they get home. It does vary a little bit with each school just on what your sending school wants. And we know that this is a very, another challenge zone for everybody. And we try to support parents from this end about welcoming their daughters back home and giving them space to show off their new skills and leadership and communication abilities. And then the teachers work with the students overseas to prepare for the plethora of questions that come about. Hey Harley, what was it like in Africa?
So coming back, I thought it was going to be difficult to transition into regular school again, but I was ahead in my math class, and teacher was really helpful, and I was able to join into an AP psychology class. So like that is an option if you're struggling, like should I take this or like go on semester, and like I was able to come back into like AP classes, so it worked out really well. And then like farther in like senior year and like a little during junior year in like history, a lot of the stuff I learned there applied, like in AP Human Geography this year. A lot of stuff from my semester applied, as there were other kids who went abroad, and then a future girl who's going on TTS next semester, so we kind of got an insight on that. So it was really helpful. I think it went smoothly. It was great.
Awesome, thanks.
Harley, how was it to travel without a phone or a laptop? You don't get tech, right?
Yeah, you don't. I liked it. My MP3 was awesome. I only downloaded 23 songs.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so when I came back, I knew every word. Yeah, I don't really like using my phone. Social media is just, it's gone too far, you know? Like I just don't feel the need to use it all the time. It's not as important as everybody thinks here in America. So it's nice to get away from that. And like, plus we could always go to like internet cafes if we wanted, but I never really wanted to go in. I just wanted to like take time and like check out my surroundings and not just go on like the internet.
And just to follow up on the MP3 reference that Harley made. So if you are going on semester with us about a month before the semester starts, we send you a very small, slightly outdated MP3 player. And what I mean by that is it really just has one function, and that is just to hold, I think Harley said 23 songs, but most of them can hold about 1,000 songs. And that is your technology and your opportunity to zone out if you need to, is to put on those headphones and share music. And I was actually talking to an alumna a few weeks ago who was on semester 2 years ago now, and she said her favorite keepsake from semester was her little MP3 player that she still had and played on occasion when she wanted to think about the semester. So
it was also a good bonding experience because we all like traded it and we found out like what everyone like listened to back home. So you never really got bored of your music, which was nice.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks for joining us on this webinar. I just want to reiterate one thing that I think we said a couple times. At any point, if you have any questions on this process, the application process, any specific questions on any of our programs, please reach out. You can email us. Here's some of our contact information. You can email us, you can call us, anyone. Our office is in Bozeman, Montana, and you might get any of us on the phone, and we would all be eager to help you. Another good way to learn more about the program is to follow us on Instagram. I know Harley just talked about social media, but if you just want to get an idea, a visual idea of kind of what the semester in action might look like, that is a great way to do so as well. But again, thanks for joining us today, and hopefully we'll hear from some of you soon.